Hello. Uh, this is Forrest with Earthly Pleasure, and today I want to talk about whether or not the clitoris is hard to find. I heard a late night host say this recently, and while I adore this late night host, it feels like that comment is just coming from a place of cultural misogyny. Actually, just anti-vulva rhetoric and yeah. So let's talk about the clitoris. I have my handy dandy model here. The clitoris, what is exposed and outside the body for people with vulvas is the glans. The glans is exposed, and actually usually not on this 3D model that's made of plastic, but usually there's a little hood that covers it. And so if you want to see the glands exposed, you have to pull the hood up. And that touching the glands, especially if you're not aroused, usually does not feel great. If you're aroused, that can be a different story. And this totally depends on, each person's anatomy, right? It's not like one thing fits every single person. So we've got our glands, and the glands is viewable with the eyes. The rest of the clitoris is not. So if we are saying, is the clitoris hard to find? What in this is a mystery, is my curiosity. We have the whole vulva here. The term vulva includes all of it. It's all of it. Yeah. And so when we think of, oh, the clitoris is so hard to find, we're just thinking, oh, this isn't a penis, right? And there's nothing wrong with penises, right? Half of us have them and half of us have the other model. So, and then there's like all the in-between stuff, right? So it's like, it doesn't really matter objectively what your anatomy is, right? All of it's good, all of it's beautiful, all of it is capable of feeling pleasure. And what we are dealing with, though, is like a lot of cultural overlays that favor bodies with penises. So here we have the glans. Just above that, and this is not on this model so clearly, but just above the glans, you have the shaft. And the shaft of the clitoris usually feels pretty great. Usually feels pretty great to be rubbed and stimulated and touched and pressed. Pressure can feel really nice. This little rubber band is also our clitoris, and you cannot see it from the outside of the body. Yeah. So part of the thing for folks with vulvas is that we can't see our anatomy. We can't just look down like those folks who have penises can just look down and see their pleasure organ. They can see their reproductive organ. It's right there. We can't unless you're very flexible or you have, like bigger labia. Usually what we're going to do is we're going to get a mirror and we're going to look. So when we look at the vulva, we see the top of the clitoris, we see the glands, and then what I also want to focus on today is that we actually have, there's the whole clitoris. And in one of my other videos, I pulled this clitoris out and kind of gave the anatomy of it. But what I want to focus on for this video is how it fits in with the whole. Like your whole vulva, underneath it is erectile tissue. We know that now. We have the science to prove it. And this, we can image this with I don't know what the image machines are called, but we can take imagery of this and we know that this is what's happening underneath our skin, behind our labia. It's so cool, right? So we have the ability, if we touch and we stroke and we are not in a hurry, we have the ability actually to get an internal erection, and it feels great. It feels amazing. Penetration hits the clitoris. The quote G spot, more accurately termed the urethral sponge, that is the clitoris. It's the clitoris swells, and all the tissue around the urethra. This is not a good model, but hang in there with me. So all the tissue around the urethra is erectile tissue, and the clitoris is on either side of it, and all of that is the clitoris. You literally cannot care about giving somebody with a vulva pleasure and not be touching their clitoris. Like, it's not hard to find. It's very easy, but there are some things, right? Don't touch the glands, probably. Ask your partner. Don't push penetration. These are all things that most of us with vulvas, depending on our age, I was born way pre-Me Too movement, and things have completely shifted now for the better. Many of us grew up with just assuming that, like, well, he's hard and I should be ready, so here we go. And we do not want to do that. We want to walk that back. That creates trauma in the body that is harmful and violent to ourselves, and we don't want to do that. We want to give ourselves time to warm up. Vulvas need time. To get this engorged and erect needs 14 minutes or more. I always like to say more, like 20 minutes, 45 minutes. Once we are aroused, all sorts of things feel good. Penetration can feel good. Direct clitoral stimulation can feel good. Tapping and like slightly heavier touching can feel really nice once you're aroused. If you're not engorged, if the blood flow hasn't gotten here yet, then it's not gonna feel great. It's gonna feel like a little jarring or overwhelming for the area, because it's all erectile tissue. It's all sensitive erectile tissue. Yeah. All right. I feel like I'm just like up on a soapbox about it today. I'm going to check in with myself and see if I have more to say about that. I don't think I have more to say. What I'll end with is, it is a dream of mine that those of us with vulvas will start to treat our sex and pleasure organs like they matter, like they are hot, like they are beautiful and gorgeous and fabulous. And once we are starting to cultivate that self-love and self-pleasure and in the simplest way, just education about our anatomy, because most of us are not given adequate anatomy, then we can start to demand that whole cultural rhetoric of, is the clitoris hard to find? We can demand that changes. And I hope that gets to change. And we're changing it right now, right? You're watching this video. I'm making this video. We're changing it. So, yeah. Thanks for watching.